first, what I would like people to understand how bad it is. First is that there's a desperate call, the cry of the victims. And Jane Smart, just last year, December, not even long before, we were having a webinar, and a victim decided to open up. Her story was really horrific. It was so sad. This woman had gone to report a GBV case. She had been violated by her husband so badly, you know. The kids had been taken away, she had been beaten up. So she went to the police station to report the case. In the process of reporting the case, she was raped at the police station. And whenever she needed any action to be taken, she was asked, you know, exchange sex for documents. And this is
at the police station?
At the police station. And by good luck, this webinar that we had Honorable Sarapai from the judiciary. We also had this different CSOs that were there. And they were the ones now who are like, no, we have to pick up this case. And there are so many cases. This one is just one of them. If you interact, you know, if you go to the shelter houses or the safe houses where some of the victims are, James March will fall sick. You can't take it. You see an 11-year-old coming pregnant and is asking you, is it painful to give birth? Just before you digest this, another one is brought in bleeding. And if you see now the process of women going to report that case, the difficulty even of having these children accepted in the safe houses, because these safe houses are mostly run by civil society organizations. And that's where we are saying without that public shelter house, without that public safe house where it's very easy for victims to be kept somewhere, then it's really problematic. And the numbers, even what you get reported, is not the real picture.
Because the media will report every once in a while. But let me get you just the same question of the statistics and cases that you've had to experience and gone through. Because, and speak for myself, this is absolute shocking. Not that we didn't know it's happening, but it's absolute shocking for people who deal with this every single day. Please.
So one is to understand that on average, 1 in every 3 women have experienced some form of violence. And there's a lot of silence to date around incidences of violence. So most of the cases of violence are never reported. So the numbers that we have are shocking, but that's just a segment of the actual realities that, you know, we are experiencing every day, from the workplace to the families. Now, I want to talk about institutions again, and to make reference to marginalized or vulnerable women or girls. We have a case, and unfortunately, after 5-6 years of that case in court, you know, we did not win that case, but then we're happy that we handled it, because it brought to light the many dynamics that are faced by women and girls with intellectual challenges. So here is a family that wanted the best for their daughter who had intellectual challenges. And so they identified a special school where they could take their young daughter so that she could be equipped with skills in an environment that understood her, okay? Proactive parents. And it's extremely difficult, parents who have children with special needs, to access quality education, because our education system, again, still needs a lot of improvement around that. What happens to this young girl at the time she was about 12 or 13? She was violated by the head teacher of a special school. That one who has been entrusted with the safety of those children violated her. And she fell pregnant. So many years later, we no longer have a case, and in addition to taking care of her because she had to drop out of school, her parents have to take care of the child that was brought forth into the world by a child who needed to be safeguarded. Okay?
How does anyone deal with this?
It's traumatizing. It's traumatizing, but it also gives you the zeal to go at it until we can realize some change in this country. And it's difficult even for the courts, because we're talking about issues of translation, issues of communication. We have issues of stigma. We have communities and people who believe that women and girls with intellectual challenges are lesser beings, and so you can violate them, and it is okay, all right? And the guardians or the caregivers of those women or girls, most of them do not have a voice. Most of them, because of the kind of care that comes with having such children, are not able to engage fully in economic activities that can earn them a sustainable livelihood. Are you seeing the mix? You know, the ripple effect?
Right.
So really, it's a comprehensive approach, as Judy says, that is required, so that we're not only dealing with one aspect of GBV, but factoring in all the vulnerabilities that come in society and how each of those is affected. The boy child as well, also, exposed to violence as well, maybe not at the same, in terms of frequency and numbers, not as high as the girls.
But it happens.
It happens, and nevertheless, it is important that we're also looking into those cases of sodomy and other forms of violation against boys and men. So really, we've got our work cut out for us.